Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are filming first impressions and 2 looks with the Glaminatrix Grounded palette. Glaminatrix is an Australian indie brand. It is one that as a US customer I cannot purchase from currently. So I just got this in not that long ago on pre-order. I am missing my international indie brands dearly. So I thought, let's give this one a little bit of love. And for my US people, I believe, if I understand correctly from their post, that Glaminatrix is working on getting a supplier or a warehouse in the US, which would be wonderful for many reasons, because even when we could order from them, I think for me from the US it was like $20 shipping, so that would be amazing. But here's a couple looks and my thoughts about the palette in the meantime. Before we get into the looks on a brand I already know I love, if you're not already, I would love it if you consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It is totally free to subscribe and I would love to have you back again on the channel for all things makeup. We do drugstore, prestige, mostly indie brands, I will say, because sorry, they're just elite on this channel. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into look 1 now. Okay, so for this first look, I already have my eye primer on. I always use eye primer. That's not anything special for this look. Right now, I've been working my way through the Colourpop Party Proof Eye Primer. And I think for the first look here, I'm going to leave this plastic protector on here because one of my shades, Calm, came a little crumbly and I don't want her to fall. But hopefully you can see through the plastic. I think I'm going to start with Clarity in the crease. And then on the outer and inner corner, go with Present to almost do like a spotlight eye in a way. And then Secure. I really want to dip into this like gold blue marbled shade to get into that. And I've got a white and blue striped top on today. And then I'll probably use Reflect as a shadow liner. And I'm thinking maybe Balanced, this like kind of yellow greeny shade in the inner corner, but we'll see. I might make some adjustments as I go and I'll let you know if I do, but that's kind of like my general outliner plan for this first look. Alright, so like I said, here's Clarity Matte in the crease. Just putting something down for a little bit of a transition shade. I personally also like to usually start with some kind of matte to set down the eyeshadow base a little bit. And this part of my eye, kind of like the crease top part, is the part where I have really visible blue veins that between the primer and some kind of matte that is a transition shade or my skin tone shade, I like to put there just to have the opacity to cover up the veins in my eyes. Now that we have that light layer down, I'm going to go in Present. And like I told you guys, to kind of follow my plan here of putting this on both the outer portion of the eye and a bit on the inner corner, just kind of creating the shape and the framework for this spotlight eye, and pretty much just using that one shimmer as the star of this particular look. So far, these mattes are performing just like I would expect them to, exactly like my other Glaminatrix palettes. Like if you have the Nearly Natural, I think if you like that, you would like the matte formula of this palette. I'm going to go back into that first brush just to kind of blend again in the crease, kind of make sure everything is looking nice and smooth, nothing's patchy or missing any spots. And then I'm going to go in with a flat brush. Here's where the magic is going to happen. We're going to go with Secure. I know this is going to end up swirling a little bit, the blue and the gold, but I kind of hope there is both colors visible and it doesn't just like totally mix to one shade, but let's see. Ooh. Ooh. Everybody say ooh, ah. Okay, that was corny. That was cheesy. Sorry. We've started school back up and I'm a public school teacher, so my dad jokes have started back up for the children to call me cringy. But that's okay. This is really pretty. It's almost, I can still see the blue and the gold, I feel like, separately in there. But it's also turning almost like teal, I feel like, when you mix it in a way. I really like, this is the kind of shade that I think you could just have it be kind of toppery if you wanted it to, like a light sprinkle over something. But I am building it up a little bit more to give it like a bit more opacity, and you can do that too. That is super pretty. I don't know that I really have anything quite like this in my collection, which is always saying something. I have over 300 palettes in my collection, so to be able to find something unique, that's a compliment to Glaminatrix, I feel like, which is well deserved. I'm even gonna take that like up past the eye a little bit here into the crease, because I find, because I have hooded eyelids, if I just stop at the fold, like you can still see my eyelid, but it even is more impactful if I carry it up. Like if you want to be able to tell, you can just keep your eye kind of open and carry it up all the way, not quite touching the brow bone, but pretty far up into the transition area, so that you can definitely see, yeah, you can see on this side all the way up the shimmer. I feel like it just helps a lot with the hooded eye shape. And I really feel like we even need a little maybe of this shimmer on the bottom, because it's just so pretty. So I'm going to take a little on a smaller brush here and put it just in the center on the bottom. See, this is what happens to me. It's just like getting shimmer on my face, which is fine. I don't mind. If you mind, do your complexion first. But I have had somebody tell me I should try doing eyeshadow primer on the bottom lid, because shadow never stays. It just kind of goes everywhere. So I feel like that makes sense. I just haven't tried it yet. And yeah, that shimmer on the bottom is just kind of going everywhere. It's not really staying on the eye the way I want it to. So I feel like primer or spray probably is necessary. Let's spritz the brush and try it. There we go. Yep, we sprayed the brush, and now we're getting it to stick a little bit more to the eye than we were before. Perfect. So just use like a glitter primer, a spray like I did, an eyeshadow primer, something if you want this to stick down there. I really do want to use Balanced, I think, on the inner corner as well. This like yellow, it's kind of reminding me of my nails, to be honest. This is from Hollow Taco. This is the something Frozen Bananas is the shade. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, wrapping that around is going to be really pretty. Kind of tie it into the shimmer we put in the middle on the lower lash line. And then wrap it around a bit into the front part. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you see that swoop right there? Oh, I love that, like inner eye into the crease swoop. I've been really loving that lately. That is pretty. It looks a little crazy right now, I feel like, but once we add the shadow liner and the mascara, it's all gonna come together. So I'm just gonna push, this is shade Reflect, push it into the lash line here to give us a little shadow liner moment. So I'm gonna finish this part off camera. I think you guys know how to, straight across, little liner on both eyes. Add mascara. I need to figure out a lip. And then I'll be back to show you the finished look number 1. And here is the final look number 1. I ended up winging out the shadow liner a little bit more. And yeah, this look was just screaming a brown lip to me. It just was. I love the way this turned out. Like I said, more like greeny tealy. It's still got like the blue shift in it though. Such a pretty multi-chrome. These shimmers are textured, but they're not gritty. They give you dimension. They are not too dry, but also not squishy putty. At least the two that I used so far. I love it so much. And yeah, so that is look number 1. Let me know what you think. The other look I know I'm going to be filming before work one day, so it's probably going to be more neutral. I feel like this is already pretty neutral. Like, I would wear this to work, but I definitely want to dig more into Calm and Whole, those two shimmers, on look number 2. So here's look number 2. Okay, so for the second look here, I am going to start with Trust, which is more of this kind of like mustardy, not as bright as Anchored of a yellow, but kind of like little mustardy shade here. And then I'm going to deepen out the look with Aligned in the outer corner. And then my goal is to use Calm and Whole as the two shimmers. And we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking maybe still the matte white is the inner corner. And then Reflect just makes sense for the shadow liner. Again, I feel like for this palette. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm trying to go in sparingly with this matte in the transition because Clarity in look 1, pretty pigmented. I was like, oh, okay, so that's really bright for a transition shade, at least for me. Look, it can get away from you pretty quickly if you're not careful. But at the same time, I was like, okay, that's not a bad thing that's that pigmented. And look, I've got this white here still that I'm putting on my brush that I can kind of use to blend and like tone it down a bit if it's too much for me for the crease. Okay, now that we've got Trust blended out with Still in the crease, I am going with Aligned on the outer corner. I don't want it to get too deep and dark. It's early in the morning compared to the other look that I filmed, and this is a work look, so not that anyone would necessarily care. It's not like, you know, there's a dress code when it comes to makeup where I work. It's a public school, but and the kids love the colorful fun stuff. Like, I've done it before for like spirit weeks and things, and they like it. Unfortunately, sometimes adults don't know how to be polite. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how full-blown people, educated people with multiple college degrees, don't know how to follow the whole, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But unfortunately, I have had at least one that sticks out in my mind, comments made before about the boldness of my makeup at work. Go figure, it was a man who's surprised, not me. And he doesn't even work there anymore where I work. So honestly, I just shouldn't care, but I know you guys know how it is. One little comment can make you second guess. And you think, okay, well, he's just the one that said it out loud. How many other people are thinking it? But that's just the inner narrative, you know. I've also had coworkers say like, oh my gosh, your makeup always looks so nice. I wish I had the patience to do that. So it goes both ways, but that's just my current journey with where I am and being comfortable with it is I'll wear colors, but it's usually like muted colors or neutral stuff to work, at least. Not a lot of bold stuff unless, like I said, it is like a spirit week or a special time that I feel like I can get away with it and have like an excuse for why I'm doing it, and it's not like an everyday look. Okay, Calm looks deep, so I'm gonna tread lightly. This seems like you need to spray the brush. This is now the second shimmer that I'm like, it seems like it's not really sticking, or like I'm gonna get fallout if I don't spray the brush. I don't remember that being the case with shimmers with other Glaminatrix palettes. So I will say that's standing out to me. I'm not saying that that means it's bad at all. It's looking really nice. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I'm just pointing it out for your information. So this is like a dark, almost black base, I think, multi-chrome that's got like copper and kind of red looking sparkle throughout it. So because of that, like, yes, it's kind of a bolder shade, but I'll wear it to work because the way I'm using it is I'm working it like into that outer corner matte. So it's just gonna look like the depth and the smokiness part of the eye. I'm not going to do it all over the full eye. The rest of the eye, the inner portion, is going to be whole. And that is more like your traditional, normal, neutral, kind of champagne looking shimmer. Still very pretty, very sparkly, but not, if I'm being honest, like anything, what am I trying to say, unique to my collection. I could have pulled the same shade from their Sugar and Spice palette probably. I feel like they have a very similar nude shade in there, but that's okay because I will use a nude shade. Really, it's only neutral shimmer in the palette, so it's not like it doesn't have a place here, because the other ones are like yellow, green, reddy, copper, teal. That's pretty. I really like how this is pairing with the matte that I put in the crease here, that kind of mustard. This would be really cool to redo this whole look, but do it with Steady and Patience, which are like the murky greens. Ooh, that'd be really, really pretty. I am definitely not done like playing with this palette just because I've done 2 looks, because there are so many more combinations I can do. I've only just done a couple in this video. So let me know if you would like to see me play with this again. Let me know in the comments. I can either do another video like this where I'm just like doing looks. I can maybe incorporate it into a get ready with me, or even if I don't film the look itself, I can like wear a look in another like commentary video just for you to see some different ideas if that's something you're interested in. I did just see this morning again, Glaminatrix talking about they're close to getting their US warehouse set up because I think she said something like 90% of their orders are US orders, and how basically like since the tariffs have gone into effect, they've only gotten like a few orders a day because it was all US orders, and like they're just not going to be able to sustain staying in business at that point. So they are very motivated to find a solution for us, even though I think it's malarkey that they even have to go through all that personally. It is what it is, and I'm grateful they're working on it, and hopefully I'd really like to pick up the Bonfire palette. Hopefully I'm able to do that soon. As you can see, I'm just adding the matte white here to the inner corner. And I do like to like not just leave it stark white and kind of blend it a little bit into both the upper part of the eye. Sorry, it's morning. My voice is still kind of froggy. And the lower lash line, upper and lower, so that it's not so like just in the corner with nothing. And almost even take it into like the shape of the nose a little bit here to shape everything a little bit more. I'm gonna go do mascara, like curl my lashes, find a lip, and I'll be back to show you the final look number 2. And here is the finished look number 2. I ended up going with the same Colourpop Stix brown lip. It just really felt like it fit, you guys. I know it's the same lip, but it just matches. Like my hair is more brown these days. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I love the sparkle. The sparkle on Glaminatrix palettes always blows me away. Yeah, Grounded's another hit, you guys. That's not a surprise to me, but if you needed confirmation from this video, I like it a lot. Yeah, so here, let's talk final thoughts. So that is both looks, guys. As I said, I already knew I loved Glaminatrix as a brand and their eyeshadow formula, so when I saw the color story, this one was a no-brainer for me. I personally went with the grounded theme instead of the poop-related jokes because, like, no hate, I get it. It's funny, like, for people that want that. I personally have never found toilet humor funny. Like, it's kind of like lowbrow, and I know I'm not trying to sound elitist or insulting, but I always like more cerebral humor, dry wit, if you will, so the poop jokes just weren't funny to me, and so I went with the grounded option, but to each their own. I just love that Glaminatrix made an April Fool's joke come to life when people said, no, make it, because most brands are like, no, we're not making it. It was just a joke. But they listened to their customer base, and we got this beautiful fall themed palette out of it, perfect for this time of year. So thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end. I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!